your connection to the film, and then how did you discover the story?
Well, I'm Mahesh Pailoor. I'm the director of the movie.
Hi everyone, I'm Frances Chen, Shalin's wife.
Hello everyone, I'm Asit Vyas, producer of the film.
And you guys, this is just a really special moment for us because Frances is here with us. And you know, when I came onto the project, we spoke over Zoom, but we've never met in person. And Frances, you've seen the film, but this is the first time you've seen it with an audience and with us. So thank you for coming and thank you for being here. I came involved with the project a few years after. You know, Asit, maybe you should start and how it all came to you and the inspiration to make this story.
Sure, I will request Chaitanya to follow whatever format you have of the question answer, and we can go from there.
Yeah, if you could briefly tell us how the project found you, or you found the project, just to set the tone, and then just a few questions, and we'll definitely open up to the audience.
Okay, so I knew Shalin. He was my relative, and the whole story unfolded in front of me. And when he wrote this article, "Thank You Cancer," it went viral. And that article, when he wrote, he was in hospital, and Frances is the one who talked to people and kind of made it viral. And then Frances and Shalin both ran another campaign called the Sunset for Shalin. And that also changed lives. When I saw that, I was very impressed with the story. But I was not thinking of making film. I was looking for other scripts and everything. But it was on his first death anniversary. We call it a celebration of his life, first year. When I saw people from all walk of the life coming and sharing that how Shalin's story, following Shalin's story, changed their life positively. And gave them the key to be happy in this world. And then at the end, Frances actually, she was serving in Peace Corps. As you saw, Frances joined the U.S. Peace Corps. And she was that time on the first death anniversary. Frances, you were in Vanuatu Island. And she joined us that particular day through the video conferencing. Even though the signal was really bad, what she had to say was so effective. So she went through this, but still she was very upbeat. And she said that, the time spent with Shalin, taught her how to be happy. Because she had promised Shalin that she'll be the happiest girl in the world. And that basically, that story I saw, that love story and that inspiring story, I thought that, everybody should know this story. And then at the end of it, Shalin's father came forward and he said that was Shalin's one of the wish for us, everybody, to share that story with the world. So then I had decided that particular day, as you know, that I want to make a film on this story. And then I took that idea to Frances and Shalin's parents, and they're very gracious. And they graciously supported my idea. And since then, they have supported, the filmmaking.
And then after that, I actually didn't know the story when it happened. I live in Los Angeles, I live in Southern California, but I didn't know the story when it happened. And so then a few years later, Asit had come to me and he shared the story. And I was immediately moved and sort of bowled over by their story and that message of wanting to share that positivity. And so then it became an infectious thing for me, and I wanted to be part of it too. And so then we started that journey to make this film. So it's been a long journey. For me, it's about 7 years, longer for them, obviously. But yeah, that's how we sort of came to this.
And then Frances, I had a question for you, which is, you do make that promise in the film and in real life of becoming the happiest girl in the world. And I'm curious, how is that journey going?
That's a good question. I don't think it's a very objective measure by any means, but I would say I'm working on it. Just this summer, actually, I just got remarried. My husband is right there, Alex Tablet. So I would say that Shalin also wanted me to find love again, and I can happily say I'm definitely doing that.
That's wonderful to hear. Let's open up to the audience. Are there questions from the audience? Okay, I think people are still thinking. I think they're still marinating in the beauty. Oh, we do have a question, please.
Well, first off, beautiful movie. I was very taken aback by how affected I was by like the family and like the support system around him being so central to like us feeling the emotions of the story. I was kind of wondering how you approach telling their stories, especially the parents, and I mean Frances is here, but how you approach that from a directorial perspective and did it such good due diligence.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm also just really proud of the cast and like this full, because I agree with you. I think what I loved about making this film is that it feels lived in for me with the family and the friends. And I think, to answer your question, I think, part of the thing that I wanted to do is, yes, it's Shalin and Frances' story, right? It is that love story and that journey, but it is also the people around them. And so trying to find that sort of journey and the arcs for each of them, whether it's the parents that they go on their journey, whether it's his best friend Millen and his journey. So it was important to kind of tell those stories, because in the end, again, it's in some ways, and in the movie's arc, Shalin's story, he has an arc, but in some ways, how he influences the people around him have an even bigger effect, whether it's within Frances going off to the Peace Corps, or the parents, how their journey changes, and Millen. So their arcs were just as important in some ways, and a way to kind of flesh out his impact.
I have a question. So race seems to be also playing a part in this. I was just wondering, were there any hurdles or challenges with the script or with the different racial backgrounds and the interactions and anything?
No hurdles in the sense that we didn't come across anything that way. I mean, I think it was just part of the story and in real life, and I thought it was interesting. I mean, for me too, it's like I think we see. I have not seen this represented on film. This is a real story, and I've not seen this kind of dynamic, which I was also like really excited by. And I think we tried to like fill out, even in our crew, like my best friend who's the editor, he's Taiwanese American. We have Olivia, she's Taiwanese American. So there was a nice way that we were trying to bridge some of these cultural differences, which is nice. But I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, like in terms of, I don't know, does it reflect a little truthfully what you went through?
Yes, I would say you did a wonderful job of capturing that aspect of our relationship. I should say that challenge in our relationship. That was definitely one of the biggest hurdles that we went through together, and with his family, of course. The first time I met his parents, like the movie, was right before he left for Peace Corps. The second time I saw them was in the emergency room when he came back from Peru. So that part of it is very true. And I can't thank you enough for being able to capture the difficulty and the challenge of that in the movie. But I would say our relationship has grown so much. They're still a really important part of my life. They were just at our wedding a few months ago. And I love them to death. They're my family now too. And I think you did a wonderful job, both of you in the cast, of course, did a wonderful job of capturing our development through the story and how we learn to accept each other and see past the superficial, like just racial identity. Yeah.
So I would say it's a good question, and Mahesh came into the play when I had a third draft. So in the first draft, first three drafts, particularly father was pretty defensive, but then he, just like Phil, he came around, he turned around, and when he saw the first time the screening, Frances, he came and hugged me, and he really loved it, and that was a big payback for us. Okay, but yeah, I mean, we had some because I'm part of the family. So, and my wife used to tell me that you do whatever you want to do, but don't spoil our relationship. And we had some delicate time going through first 3 drafts, but I feel lucky. And Frances said it is mainly her story, but she has been nothing but cooperative, and she has been just sending all the positive energy, and and she's really doing a very fine balance in her relationship and with the family. And as she said, that now Shalin's family is like her family, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
Time for one last question, sir.
I actually have 2 quick questions. One, Mahesh, I would love to know, because a movie like this is so true to life, it needs to be real from the actor's perspective and everything. What was your casting process? How you found these beautiful actors? And my second question is to you, Frances. Your strength inspired all of us to look at life differently, as did Shalin's strength. But I wanted to know, like, whenever we get married, we say, till death do us part. I wanted to know what your perspective on love is now. What does love mean to you now, beyond death?
Frances, you want to start?
I need a few minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the casting of the film. I mean, I think there's a few things to it. One is, yes, it's based on a true story, and I think we had this conversation. Part of what I wanted to do too is just because I was not in the room, I was not there. So part of it was to kind of, I told Frances, like, I'm not trying to make a facsimile of exactly what I said, because it can never represent that. That's the reality, and this is now something else. It's a movie with characters, and in some ways, that little separation then allows you to make a movie and to have a little bit of liberty here and there. So in the casting, then we're just looking for the best actors. Not necessarily if they look alike or anything like that, but just like who's the best actor. And we had an amazing group that just came through. And I mean, some of them I've known, like as South Asians, and especially in LA, like we know each other. And like the parents of Mira is a good friend. I've always wanted she was going to be in it. Farhan, the dad, he was always going to be in it. Kapil, he's a great actor. We love him. So he has a personal connection because, he went to USC and actually kind of crossed paths with these guys. So it was a very personal story to him. So it was kind of a thing where we knew some of the actors, and some people came in and just kind of blew us away in auditions. So that's sort of like how that kind of came to. And then there's like a little quick thing about that was that because we did sort of divorce ourselves from the reality at some point just to make the movie. And I told that to the actors too, like we're just gonna kind of follow the inspiration from them, we're gonna make this movie. But then the thing that was interesting for me was then we got back to in the final days of editing, and we put together this final sequence using real footage. And there was something that was like really cathartic for me that happened, was that by looking at the real footage again, we were seeing that was in the movie. And so that there was, some truth that was sort of kind of coming out of it in a way that was really nice to see how that kind of came back around. So anyway, and then.
Well, I'll give a little bit more time by saying that, we have Carly Wyman in the audience here.
Our production
so you want to say
designer,
that?
who's amazing. She's
Please,
the audition.
please.
Oh yeah, Carly's here. We were so lucky to have her. She was the best.
She was amazing.
Okay. So to your question, I think it was, what does love mean to me now? I think that when I was younger, 10 years ago when all this happened, before Shalin got sick, love is like when you're in high school and college, it is like dreaming of a life together, thinking you're going to be married someday in a cul-de-sac with kids and a minivan, and just a lot of those things that they talk about in that one scene in the car. Now I know that love is something that is every day, something that is in the moment. It's very much quality over quantity. And I think that now love is just being able to cherish whatever moment you have with your loved one, because we really don't know how much time we have. And I know that's very cliche, but after going to serve in the Peace Corps and having lost like more people in my life, I very much will say that quality and being in the present moment with the people you love means the most. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. One more time, round of applause for our crew here. Awesome.
Thank you.
Two quick notes. One, I made a mistake when I said All That We Imagine at Light. It's not playing here, it's playing at SIFF at 9 o'clock. Please check it out. It won the Grand Prix Award at Cannes earlier this year. It's fantastic. And most importantly, savor those sunsets. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.